But that lady, that new press secretary, she's
that video, dude.
She's a gangster. Have you seen that video?
You've never seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie.
Has to be, you know, if you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin's
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Whatever I'm saying, this is the first time that she's been she may be. But my point is that job would not maybe have been open to her.
No, I understand. I just wanted to clarify.
Absolutely not. Let me be unequivocally clear about that. And watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said.
Saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested hen house.
Imagine Joe Rogan and Coleman Hughes pulling up, metaphorically speaking, to the set of The View. Not as guests ready to engage in the daily verbal food fight, but with the calm, detached energy of two guys showing up to fix a leaky faucet, only to end up flooding the entire house with cold, hard logic. There was no yelling, no frantic interruptions, no name-calling, just calm, almost surgical takedowns delivered from the comfort of their own platforms. Critiques that reportedly left the famously outspoken hosts blinking like they forgot their lines mid-monologue. It's often the quiet ones you've got to watch, and these two just turned daytime drama into a masterclass in composure over chaos. How did this remote roasting unravel the fabric of The View's usual dynamic? Oh, you're definitely going to want to see this.
It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and you like it was totally baked and half baked and you went on stage with it and it's nothing
Just
there.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Sometimes comics do that.
Yeah, and
fun.
the other question is then, is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of
MSNBC
people,
viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers. I think they're a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg has.
First, let's set the stage with The View's unique atmosphere, as vividly described by commentators reacting to its chaos. It's often painted not as a forum for balanced debate, but as a rabies-infested henhouse, an ideological bubble, where dissenting voices, particularly the designated token conservative, are routinely shouted down or silenced. Critics argue that while some hosts, like perhaps Sunny Hostin, might be intelligent but ideologically captured, others, like Whoopi Goldberg, according to some analyses, aren't necessarily the brightest, leading to commentary that feels half-baked or simply nonsensical. It's portrayed as a place where performative outrage often trumps factual accuracy, creating a daily spectacle built on conflict rather than clarity. This is the environment that Rogan and Hughes seemingly observed from afar before offering their critiques.
Watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans Do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up. They just paid $15 million to President Trump's future library. That's a great thing for the American people.
While the transcript doesn't point to a single specific segment that definitively triggered Rogan and Hughes simultaneously, it strongly suggests their reactions stemmed from The View's overall pattern. The show's tendency towards sweeping, often factually questionable declarations on complex issues like politics, culture, and race, combined with what critics perceive as digs at certain groups, like anti-woke men or Republicans in general, likely provided ample fodder. It wasn't necessarily one straw that broke the camel's back, but rather the cumulative weight of perceived misinformation and ideological rigidity that prompted them to weigh in from their respective platforms.
And while we will expose the fake news when they are fake, we will hold them accountable for their lies and smears of President Trump. I can also assure the American people that they are going to be hearing directly from the leader of the free world. And the press likes to hear that too. That's something that has not happened over the past 4 years. We've had an incompetent, senile president, as proven by that scathing Wall Street Journal report that came out today.
Joe Rogan, king of the long-form podcast conversation, reacted in typical Rogan fashion. There was no furious tirade, no dramatic call-out video. It was worse, for The View at least. It was calm amusement. He essentially described the show as less of a serious commentary platform and more akin to daytime drama mixed with a bad improv class, where the performers are fundamentally allergic to facts and nuance. He characterized the hosts not as engaged debaters, but as performers playing to the cheap seats, seeking applause breaks and Twitter validation rather than engaging in genuine intellectual exchange. He even mocked the idea of their audience, suggesting many are paid to be there or are low-information blue no matter who types, further diminishing the show's perceived credibility. His critique wasn't an angry outburst, it was a dismissive chuckle, implying the show wasn't even worth getting truly worked up about.
I think it's insulting that you are trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe.
To hire a spokesperson just so that Elon Musk doesn't put out tweets that then confuse federal workers.
Are my press briefings not good enough for you, Jackie?
Meanwhile, Coleman Hughes, known for his meticulously reasoned arguments and calm demeanor, even when tackling highly charged topics, rolled up with a different kind of weapon, logic and evidence. While Rogan focused on the performative absurdity, Hughes reportedly dissected the substance, or lack thereof. He quietly, methodically pointed out how The View often discusses complex issues like race and politics with, as the transcript commentator put it, all the depth of a puddle in a heat wave. He likely highlighted how opinions are presented as facts, how nuanced perspectives are ignored, and how recycled talking points substitute for original thought. Hughes even recounted his own experience appearing on the show, describing how he felt Sonny Hostin tried to ambush him and attack his character, rather than engage with his ideas. A direct accusation of the show prioritizing conflict over conversation. His critique wasn't based on sarcasm. It was grounded in observed patterns of intellectual laziness and ideological rigidity.
Yes. Does Whoopi have children?
No idea.
It's interesting too, like really politically motivated older women who don't have children.
Yeah.
They're very specific. Like you can kind of guess the way they think. I would like to see like what the stats are on older post-menopausal women with no children and how they lean politically.
Yeah, college educated. Yeah.
Oh, it is like.
Yeah, no, it's
I
extreme.
bet it's like my fans being male.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like ocean blue. I mean, like the depths of that.
Bananas. Yeah. And
What made this dual critique particularly potent was the platform. Neither Rogan nor Hughes felt the need to appear on The View to make their points. They didn't seek out a confrontation on the host's home turf. Instead, they leveraged their own massive, influential platforms. Rogan's podcast reaching millions, Hughes' respected writing and commentary to deliver their assessments. This act, in itself, was a power move. It implicitly communicated that The View, despite its network backing and daytime slot, wasn't the center of the conversation they needed to engage with directly. It was like beating a chess grandmaster not by playing them, but by publishing a widely read analysis exposing the flaws in their strategy. They effectively dismantled the institution from the outside, treating it more as a cultural case study than a serious intellectual adversary.
It's the episode when Tulsi Gabbard got on to defend herself, and Joy Behar starts panicking and going over her notes while Tulsi is refuting everything that she said.
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, like, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, like, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform. I mean, it is crazy. They have no idea. These people have never read, like, a book.
What made this dual critique particularly potent was the platform. Neither Rogan nor Hughes felt the need to appear on The View to make their points. They didn't seek out a confrontation on the host's home turf. Instead, they leveraged their own massive, influential platforms. Rogan's podcast reaching millions, Hughes's respected writing and commentary to deliver their assessments. This act, in itself, was a power move. It implicitly communicated that The View, despite its network backing and daytime slot, wasn't the center of the conversation they needed to engage with directly. It was like beating a chess grandmaster not by playing them, but by publishing a widely read analysis exposing the flaws in their strategy. They effectively dismantled the institution from the outside, treating it more as a cultural case study than a serious intellectual adversary.
You get people thinking, like, if you could stop Hitler by any means necessary, wouldn't you stop Hitler? And so they equate Donald Trump with Hitler and go, here you go, this is our modern Hitler. Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it, because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said
on television.
And how did the hosts of The View likely react to being calmly dissected from afar by two prominent male commentators known for challenging their specific brand of discourse? Based on past patterns and the transcript's speculation, the response probably involved deflection and a pivot to theatrical victimhood. Instead of engaging with the substance of Rogan's points about performative outrage or Hughes's critiques of logical fallacies, the host likely fell back on familiar buzzwords. Suddenly, the critiques wouldn't be about facts or logic. They'd be framed as attacks stemming from privilege, misinformation, or fragile masculinity. They might have implicitly or explicitly suggested that Rogan and Hughes were part of the problem, conveniently ignoring the specific arguments raised. It's the classic tactic observed by critics. When you can't win the argument, attack the arguer or claim you're being unfairly targeted.
Audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, but a lot of them are paid. They're paid to be there. But arguably, like, the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like, they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school, and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show.
This highlights the core clash at the heart of this dynamic, as perceived by Rogan and Hughes. The difference between The View's alleged model of outrage-driven conflict masquerading as commentary versus their own preference for long-form, nuanced, sometimes messy, but ultimately substance-focused conversations. The View, in this critique, isn't interested in finding truth. It's interested in creating villains and generating emotional responses. Rogan and Hughes, despite their own controversies, position themselves as seeking understanding, even if it means engaging with uncomfortable ideas. It's a fundamental difference in media philosophy, and Rogan and Hughes clearly believe their approach is superior, leaving The View looking like an outdated engine sputtering on fumes of manufactured drama.
So Joy Behar went after Joe Rogan on The View, and he fired back spectacularly.
You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump is Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
The internet, predictably, seemed to agree with the assessment from Rogan and Hughes. Memes contrasting Rogan's chuckle with the host's often intense facial expressions reportedly flooded social media. Threads dissecting Hughes' logical points gained traction. The online reaction wasn't just mockery, it was a widespread affirmation of the critique that The View often prioritizes emotional performance over intellectual rigor. The show that prides itself on being a platform for strong voices seemed unable to handle strong voices that didn't align with its pre-approved script, especially when those voices remained frustratingly calm and composed. Imagine being roasted so thoroughly, so devastatingly, by two people who didn't even bother showing up to the party. It's like planning an elaborate duel only to find out your opponent sent a well-reasoned, politely worded essay explaining why dueling is stupid instead. You can't respond effectively with fists or shouting to facts presented calmly. The View's response, or lack thereof, likely involved pretending the critiques didn't happen, pivoting quickly to the next outrage segment and hoping the audience would forget. But the internet doesn't forget. Rogan and Hughes didn't just throw verbal jabs. They exposed what they see as the hollow core of a certain type of daytime media. All heat, no light. And that exposure, delivered with infuriating calm, might be the most damaging critique of all, leaving The View facing perhaps the worst fate imaginable for a show built on noise, being quietly ignored by those seeking actual conversation.